Let's go one step harder. So we're going to use the bucket method. So you draw a bucket underneath every term and put the symbols between. And so now we're going to factor it out. So I have 5. The factors of 5 are 5 and 1. And then I have x to the 4th. Meaning x times x times x times x. Now we have 10x cubed. 10 factors to 5 and 2. And then x cubed is x times x times x. Our last term is 25x squared. So we factor 25 to 5 times 5 and then x times x. So now I'm going to look and see what all they have in common. Looking at the numbers, I have a 5 in every bucket. I also have x's in common. I'm going to circle 1x because I know they definitely have 1x in common. But then looking down here, this has a second x. So I know that I can circle this one and another one from the second bucket and another from the first bucket. So now I take out what is circled. So I have 5 and then x twice. Well, x times x is x squared. So I just took out all of these. Pretty much I'm dividing it out. So now what's left in each bucket is, the first one is 1x squared, because x times x is x squared, plus, in my second one I have a 2x plus 5. So that is my answer, 5x squared times 1x squared plus 2x plus 5, because when I factored out the greatest common factor was 5x squared. Let's take this even one step harder. Now all of a sudden we have more than one variable. We have both x's and y's. So same thing, create buckets, factor it out, and then see what's in common in all 3 buckets. So bucket number 1 plus bucket number 2 plus bucket number 3. So I'm going to go ahead and factor 8. So 8 can get broken into 4 and 2. But 4 is not the prime factorization. So I need to break 4 down again. So 4 gets broken into 2 times 2. I have x cubed, so x times x times x, and then a y. And now my second term, I have 4x squared y, so 4 is 2 times 2. X squared is x times x, and then y. And then 12x. So 12 gets broken into 6 times 2. Again, 6 is not prime factored, so I need to break that down again to 3 times 2. And then an x. So now I'm going to see what all they have in common. So I noticed that every single bucket has a 2. So I'm going to circle a 2. And looking at this, I see that they have a second 2 in common. So I'm going to go ahead and circle a second 2. And looking at variables, I see that they have 1x in common. So I'm going to circle 1x. So now my greatest common factor is 2 times 2 times x. It's everything that's circled. So I'm going to divide that out. 2 times 2 is 4 times x is 4x. And now I'm going to put my parentheses and go, what's left? So in my first bucket, I have 2. So that's my number. X times x, so x squared, and then a y, plus xy, plus 3. And so now I just took out the greatest common factor. Here are just a few reminders. GCF is just dividing out the greatest factor of all the terms of the polynomial. You write the GCF in front of the polynomial in the parentheses. If you're using the bucket method, which was what was shown in this video, is that you create buckets under each term with the operation, so the addition or subtraction symbol between each bucket. You prime factor each term. You circle the common factors from each bucket. You multiply the circled factors and put in front of the parentheses. And then in the parentheses, you put what is left in each bucket when you multiply everything that is uncircled. And those are just the steps from the previous 3 examples. If you understand the bucket method and there's an easier way to do this, please go ahead and take the easier way. Now it's your turn to try some. Please try 2 of the 3 problems. So the first one is 3x cubed plus 6x squared plus 9x. The second problem is 2xy cubed plus 4x squared y squared plus 8x cubed y. And number 3 is 5x squared plus 10x plus 15. Good luck!